Hi guys.
Hi.
So I'm Melrose.
I am Lex.
And today we're going to talk about the topic layers.
It's fall, so it's like appropriate for us to talk about layers.
Yes, I'm so excited. So we're going to get started. We're obviously going to start with the fun stuff because who doesn't like fun stuff? And I think Lex has a really cool tip. So I'm going to let her go first.
Yay! So it's fall, and we're all, at least us Florida girls, are seriously trying to figure out how to manage our wardrobe that fits 90% of the time because it's hot in Florida 90% of the time, and still make it cute and fun for fall. So something that I do almost a little too often is layer skirts that I like on top of dresses that I like. I do that a lot, like I did it last night. So let's say, for instance, there is either for look purposes or even in terms of fall, if it's a little cold, you can use this idea. So there was, let's just say you have like a regular old A-line dress or whatever, but you want to add another layer to it, either for style or because it's like chilly outside or whatever. You can throw another skirt on top of it. I have this really cute kind of, what do you call it, like circle skirt, a black circle skirt, and I also have a black just regular kind of bodycon-ish middle of the leg type of skirt that I layer on top of stuff all the time, especially for work, because some of the dresses that I have like are appropriate on the top but not so appropriate on the bottom. So I'll literally throw the circle skirt on top, and then it has its own little look. And same thing with the straight dress. I do that all the time. So I guess that's considered layering, and I literally do that at least once a week because I have more dresses than I do skirts, but I want to switch up my look. I don't want to like wear the same thing all the time.
That's so cute. I actually never thought of that. That's a really good idea. I'm going to try it out.
Yes, that's my tip for layering.
I actually kind of noticed yesterday, but not really. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But that was,
like,
that's
you don't
really
look too
cute.
close,
Yeah.
no one will ever be able to tell.
So I guess my tip, I don't know if it's really a tip, but just something that I really like to do. So one of my favorite things to do, I have some examples here, is I like to layer with different textures. So for example, I have this velvet skirt. So when I'm shopping, I love to, I'm very visual, so I like to feel and just look at different types of textures, and then the lighting makes it look kind of dark, but so I would layer this with maybe like a jean jacket. Ooh. So you have some different textiles going on. I also have, this is like a satin. I love, love, love. I know we have seen throughout like all the runway shows this season, we've seen a lot of the coats in the satin, and I really, I'm like dying to get one, but they're so expensive. And I know I'm not going to wear it every day, so sometimes I hold back from buying things that I want just because I think of like the use of it, and I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna wear it every day, so it's expensive. But this is actually a blouse that I wore for a recent photo shoot that I'm doing a blog post for that will be up probably this week. Oh, good. So this is a blouse that I'm not gonna go into it, but it's gonna be
it's a silk blouse,
but it's a silk blouse, and it's gonna be for a pajama trend inspiration. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, basically I like really layering different textures. You could do satin with like a wool coat. You could do satin with, well, satin pretty much looks good with anything, with even like a jean jacket, different things like that. So look out for textures this season, especially because it's cozy season.
That's true.
So yeah.
Yay! I love that tip, and I love, like, side note, but I love velvet. Like, I'm obsessed with velvet.
I love it.
I recently bought 2 velvet dresses, both of which are black because all I wear is black most of the time.
I know, me too.
I don't know.
I'm like black and white. Like my life should be in black and white.
Right. I mean, it's so chic. No pun intended.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Oh, no pun intended. No.
Yes, pun intended.
All the pun.
Chic conviction.
But it is. I love velvet, so that's a good tip.
I actually really love. Speaking of velvet, I love red velvet cake.
What?
Have you?
Yes,
I love it.
I love red velvet cake as well.
I'm just thinking about food. Don't mind me. Whatever.
All the velvet. I guess. Did you know that like red velvet cake is literally nothing but chocolate cake with like
Maybe that's why I like it, because I love chocolate.
Yeah, it's literally because I've made a couple of Greg's favorite cake is red velvet cake. So I made it for his birthday one year, and it's literally a chocolate cake with like a buttload of red dye in it. I mean, I think there's another ingredient that makes it was it tart, cream of tart, or something else is in it, but it's pretty much the base of it. Just like a
have you ever had like red velvet with like pecans and stuff?
Yes,
oh my
God, makes
so
it that way.
Girl, so good. Where's your grandma? Is she visiting for Thanksgiving?
No, but maybe I'll be visiting her for Thanksgiving.
You could call her up, be like, listen, I'm trying to surprise my friend Melrose.
Right? Have the red velvet on deck, Grandma. So yeah.
Okay, so now to the juicy stuff, the stuff that everyone is waiting for. So we have a Bible verse for you guys that we'll start off with.
So the Bible verse that we're going to be reading from today is Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verses 1 through 8. And it says, there is an appointed time for everything. And there is a time. One second, guys. What's happening? My phone's being so strange.
These darn iPhone updates.
I tell you, what is happening? What? Okay. There's an appointed time for everything, and there is a time for every event under heaven, a time to give birth and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot what is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build up. So that speaks directly to what we're going to be talking about today, which is how to keep a balanced life as best you can in everything that you do, and how to manage the different facets of yourself as you're going through life.
So, sorry. We're twins, so we're just like talking all the time at the same time. Like those girls we met yesterday. I don't remember what it is that I asked them, and they like responded at the same time. I was like, okay. Like, you guys are on the same page. Okay.
Well, go ahead. I'll let you have it.
Well, I wanted to start with, I was at work the other day, and somebody said to me, they said, you know, you have something weird going on. You're like shy, but you're not.
Which is really, it's a good way to describe Mel in a way. I just
thought like, okay, like I know what you're saying. Like it's kind of true. I wouldn't use the word shy. I'd say I'm more reserved. I have like different aspects to my personality, and I think that a lot of us do. It just depends like who we're with, you know, the situation that we're in, or where we are, or just there's just so many factors, so it's hard to like pinpoint one. But at the end of the day, we do have different aspects to our personality. Like for myself, I am very reserved, and I think when I don't need to exert the strong parts of my personality, then I just don't. I'm more like quiet and like reserved, and I just kind of keep it to myself. And I guess I'm more like, you know, like kind of like that sweet friend. But then, you know, there are times, of course, if I'm like speaking, or if I don't know, like just different scenarios in my life where I can be that really strong voice and that really strong person, and kind of have that authority and that character. But I just feel like not in my everyday life, I need to, you know, reflect that, if that makes sense. And then there are times where I'm the fun friend, like you said. I know Lex has mentioned this in a couple of broadcasts ago, but when we were talking about filters, we talked about that. So this is kind of related to that, but not in a negative light, more of like there are different sides to you. And, you know, sometimes you can be the fun girl, but that doesn't always mean that that's your identity. It just means that, you know, maybe you're with your friends that you call like the fun group, and then maybe you're with your friend that's the really like deep, like let's talk about life and like let's get serious. You know, like you do, I mean, you know what I'm saying, right? Like you have different scenarios throughout life. Like I'm not gonna go around always being the party girl, like while I'm at work, or like while I'm like sitting here doing a broadcast. Like, you know, it's not a party, so.
That's true. You have to be able to like manage. And I think in life too, like we grow through different parts of our lives too. So let's say, for instance, you were like younger, and during that time of your life, you're still finding yourself, so you were really quiet, right? So that was part of who you were. But as you've grown, maybe something else has been brought out of you that you've tapped into. So even in life, you don't have to like be the same person all the time. Like I'm sure 16-year-old Alexis is totally different than this Alexis. That's because I've grown. Like I'm still me, but there's different parts of my personality that have developed as I've grown, you know?
That's true.
So that's important to know too.
I was talking to, sorry, I'm like squishing you because I'm like crisscross applesauce. I was talking to someone the other day who was asking me some questions about like being introvert and things like that, and just being around people, and like you want to be like extroverted, I guess. And they asked me, do you think I've always been that way? And just questions like that. And I think that you're right. You know, like there are experiences that shape us and they change us. And when I was younger, maybe I was different. Like maybe I was a little bit more extrovert, but because of my life experiences, maybe now the part where I am reserved, it's not that I'm shy, because I think I am a very outgoing person and I go after what I want and I have goals, and I'm not afraid to talk to people. I love talking to people, but I'm very reserved because, you know, I have been hurt and I have gone through things. So I have learned to kind of like take a step back and kind of like evaluate and just be cautious before I move into a situation or talking to someone or whatever that is. I'm very observative. So when I'm like in any situation or any place, I'm always kind of like just scanning the room. I'm just kind of like, okay, like beep, 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 beep. And I just like take it all in and process. You like my sound effects?
I did. That was the highlight of my day.
So yeah.
I think that's really good to note. Like sometimes life can shift to how you react to things and your personality. It's not always in a negative way, but sometimes, you know, life teaches us lessons, and when we learn those lessons, we have to adjust. And I guess that's really is just a part of life. Is just that you can't always be the same person in different social circles. I know my mom says that, like, and maybe a lot of you, us can relate to this when you are. This is probably, well, nothing's too deep for CCM chat, right? But you know how like sometimes you're a different person at home than you are in the world. Like the culture that you have at home may be different than what the culture is outside, right? So how I talk to my mom is different than how I talk to my boss or how I talk to acquaintances or how I talk to friends. I consider those different facets of who I am. Right. So, but that doesn't make any of them any less. It just means that when I'm shifting into a different space, I bring out another part of myself. And some people consider it a bad thing. I've read some articles where it's considered a bad thing for you to do that, but I think it's a benefit to be able to have different sides of you, because there's professional Lex, and then there's after 12 o'clock Lex, which is extremely sleepy, tired, and angry, and there's early morning Lex that's ready to go do stuff. But all of those are me.
Yeah, and I think you're right. Like a lot of people have this kind of like misconception that, oh, like you have to be yourself no matter what. Like I'm not going to change for anybody. Like I'm going to be who I am wherever I go, like whoever I'm with. But I think you have to learn to adapt yourself to your environment. And that's not a bad thing. Like, you know, sometimes I may go to a dinner that's a little bit, you know, requires a little bit more etiquette. You know, I have to speak softly. You know, it's a little bit more like formal, I guess. So, you know, I can't just show up and be like, hey, you know, what's up,
how you
doing? You know, like, it's just like you can do that if you want, but you know, it's always good to just kind of like adapt. You know, it's not that you're changing who you are. You're just kind of adapting to your environment and just being the best you in that environment. And it's the same way, like, you know, you're going out with your friends and you're being you're being fun Lex and fun Melrose, and you're just like having fun and you're still yourself. Like, you know, you can't think that just because you adapt to an environment means that you're changing your identity or who you are at the end of the day. I think that we can also connect this to... I lost my thought.
No. It also reminds me of, like, you know how as women sometimes we are a lot of things to different people, right? So let's say for my family, I'm the oldest of my siblings, right? So I'm the responsible one. I am the one that my parents call when stuff needs to get done because I am the responsible one. But when I'm with my friends, I'm like the soft, quiet, kind of lazy, always eating one.
Always eating.
Always eating one, you know? So like we are, let's say in the workspace, I am responsible for different things. So I am a strong leader in the workplace, right? So you are different things to different people. That doesn't necessarily mean that you are a different person. It just means that your contribution to their lives is different depending on what the space is. If that makes sense.
I remember now. Sorry, sometimes
Ding,
my
ding,
thoughts
ding.
like go a mile a minute, and like I'm like trying to catch my thoughts, and it just like goes so
It's
far
part of
away
having a
from me.
creative brain, guys. If you have a creative
I
brain,
know,
then you know what we're
it's
talking about. It
sometimes I'm
happens all
like,
the time.
oh my god, I have to write this idea down, and then while I'm writing, I'm like, wait,
What was
wait,
the idea?
So, but kind of like what I wanted to say was that we can connect this when we talk about, okay, how so you have all these different parts to you. You have you're multifaceted, let's say, you're versatile. How do you create a balance in your life between, for example, being mom, being a sister, being a daughter, being a student, having, being an employee, or being a boss, or having your own business? How do you, and I guess I'm going to ask you,
Sure.
how do you create this balance between being all of those things and still remain true to who you are at the end of the day?
That's a good question. I think for me, I understand that there are seasons in my life, right? So there are certain seasons when certain facets of who I am are more prominent in my life than others. So let's say, for instance, if there's ever a season where I'm not working, then my working self doesn't take priority. But at the base of everything, there's always Alexis, who I am, what I enjoy, no matter what I'm doing. So for me, keeping balance means that I am always in tune with me, that I am always taking the time, either it's 30 minutes or 2 hours or whatever, to do things that I enjoy. And then outside of that, understanding that there are certain seasons in my life where some parts of me aren't going to be as prominent. I'm not always going to be working on a side project. I'm not always going to be hardcore recording videos or doing it. There are seasons for everything. So certain parts of me take
it's like
a back
the Bible
seat.
verse.
Yeah, exactly.
There's
there
a
are
time
seasons
for everything.
But at the core of that, again, I always try to do things that I enjoy. So like after work, I am at the gym, not because I'm a hardcore gym person, but because I feel good when I work out. That makes me feel good. So I do that. Or I pick up a book and once a week read. That's not a lot to some people, but it's something for me, and I enjoy reading. So I think keeping a balance for me means always trying to do things that make you happy, and then serving those other parts of your life as best you can when it's the time to do so. And then the other things that are in the background, just, give them as much attention as they need. But at the end of the day, always take care of yourself.
I think you hit a home run, girl.
Thanks, friend.
I think you have a point where you say, it's kind of like music, when you listen to music, but like when you look at like a visual of what a soundtrack looks like, you always have that bass in the bottom, which is the foundation, and it's always in the background of like the music. It's kind of like what makes the song. It's like the foundation of that song. Yep. So if our life is a song, oh my god, that's so deep.
So deep.
If our life is a song, then we have to, like Lex said, feed that part of ourselves that helps us stay true to who we are. And who you are, it can be in your painting, it can be in your dancing, it can be in your singing, it can be in whatever it is that you do that you feel like, you know what, this is so Melrose, or like this is so Lex. Like I love doing this. Like maybe it's something that you don't do that anybody can see. Maybe it's just something that's very intimate to you. Like sometimes I write poetry, but I don't like post it anywhere. I don't like, it's just for myself. It's a way for me to express myself, a way for me to stay true to that part of me. I feel like, wow, this is so me, and that's really important because, when the Bible talks about, there is a time for everything, and having that balance in our lives, and being so overwhelmed with so many roles in our lives, I think there is a lot of weight to having that time and separating that time to spend with yourself. Like actually today, I was like texting a couple different people because I wanted to go have lunch, but I didn't want to go by myself. And everyone was busy, of course, because anytime you want to do something last minute, everyone's busy. But I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go by myself. Like, I haven't done that in a while. And it can happen to all of us. We get so busy, we get so comfortable in this space where it's like awkward to be by yourself. Like, have you ever just like, it gets awkward? Like, how am I gonna sit in there by myself? And I ended up going to Starbucks. It's a little less awkward. People are in there like by themselves all the time. Yeah. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is that I was by myself, and I haven't done that in a long time. I mean, I do it at home, but like out in public. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have a little date with myself,
which is so nice to do, by the way.
And I'm gonna listen to music, and I'm just gonna reflect on things, and I'm gonna get some work done, and that's what I did. And I'm really happy that I did that, because sometimes being with someone else can actually, it's kind of like a pressure. Like, you have to entertain that person, like by talking to them, or to some degree, like you have to talk to them. You have to like. It's like this pressure that when you are alone, when you have that date with yourself where you spend that time alone, you don't have to please anyone. You don't have to talk to anyone. You just kind of like, it helps you to reflect. And I think actually that's one of the reasons people never do it, is because you don't want to think.
That's so true. It's so true. Sometimes when
it's scary, like, I don't want to be alone, because then I'm going to start thinking about my bills. I'm going to start thinking about what I need to do.
Often when you don't want to be with yourself, it's because you know that when you're by yourself, you have to deal with yourself. And when you're with friends, or when you're dealing with other people, like you said, you're so busy entertaining them that you're not paying attention to yourself. It's kind of like we were attending a panel. We were part of a panel yesterday, and one of the things that I guess she's the moderator, was saying, women who go from relationship to relationship, they never spend time with themselves, and so somewhere in there they don't know themselves. It's kind of like the same thing. Like, if you're not willing to sit down by yourself and do something, not to say you got to go to Starbucks or have a date, but if you don't like being at home by yourself, maybe you should evaluate why that is. Is it because you want somebody there? And if so, why do you want somebody there? Are you not comfortable being by yourself? Do you just need somebody there to make you feel appreciated and loved?
Yeah. Some things to think about, friends. Some things to think about.
It's deep. It's totally deep.
So today's not very long. I think that's pretty much all that we had to share with you guys today. This is a very thought-provoking topic, which is why we don't want to like fluff it up too much. Just something to think about. Just to sum everything up, you have a lot of different layers to you as a person, and that's okay. You are the best version of yourself in whatever circumstance you are. Just be able to adapt to your environment, and that's okay. And just always be who you are. Don't be afraid to spend time with yourself and really develop who it is that you truly are on the inside, because that's what will be reflected in whatever situation or circumstance you're in at the moment. And also remember that ultimately there is a time for everything. Don't ever lose sight of that. God has ordained your steps already, so trust in Him, love on Him, have a relationship with Him and with yourself. It's super important. And I don't know if Lex has anything else to say.
Yeah, I feel like Mel pretty much said everything. It's so important that you understand that you are not one-dimensional. You weren't created to be one-dimensional either. There are so many stories of great servants of God in the Bible who did so many things, were great people in their community and also served the Lord. So know that you have everything that's in you is to a degree a talent and a gift, and to use those things to your advantage wherever you go, whether it be touching somebody by your kind words, or just volunteering and giving your time and your hands to somebody. Just know that all these different parts of you are there for a reason, and to use them to your advantage wherever you go, and of course to glorify God and spread His word whenever you can.
Perfect. Woo! All right, so
that was quick. Oh, and question: do you guys like these shorter ones or the longer ones? Be honest. Be honest. Let us know. Do you like the shorter ones? And also, we'd like to know, like, maybe even for me, what you guys would like to see from us. Maybe
that'd be fun. Me and Lex are gonna get together these next couple months to prepare for 2017.
Yes, can you guys believe it?
I know. It's
crazy. Honestly, wait, random moment, but CCM was literally like not even a thing. Was it a thing this time last year? No, it wasn't even really a thing this time last year.
No, it was.
Was it really?
We launched in January, but we were already
okay,
planning.
so it wasn't official. Like CCM isn't even officially a year yet, and we're coming up on our year, and it's like crazy to believe. I feel like so much has happened this year with us in CCM, but
yeah, we're so excited. So if you guys have any kind of like topics that you want us to cover, anything you want us to talk about, any questions or anything at all, feel free to leave it in the comments. If it's a little bit more private, you can always email us, or if you know us personally, just text me, call me, or whatever.
Yeah, of course. And know that everything that we do here is spirit filled and purpose driven. But if you do have like a regular old life question, or you want to just know from girls your age or whatever, you just have a regular question, you can ask us those too, because we're open to discussing those as well.
And you never know how to correlate with whatever topics we're talking about. You never know.
Exactly.
So just let us know your feedback. Let us know what you'd like us to talk about. We have sent out invitations for our next event, so stay tuned for that.
Yes, that's gonna be fun.
We will have some events and things coming probably for the beginning of next year. Stay tuned for that. Stay connected with us on social media, on Instagram. We're trying to grow on Instagram, guys.
Yes, so we are.
Share. Tell your friends to subscribe to us on YouTube. Tell your coworkers. Tell your families. And just love on us on social media.
And one last thing, and this is unrelated, but I think it's so important to say, if you're not political, you can click off now. But I think it's important that all of you girls and guys go out to vote. I don't care who you vote for. You ain't got to vote for this girl. But I do think it's important that we all use our right to vote. Early voting, I think, ends tomorrow here in Florida, Georgia, the southern states like that. But guys,
open 8 to 8.
Please, it's so very important. And there's if you don't care for any of the presidential nominees, I know some people don't, that's fine. There's an entire ballot there of local judges, school board things that you can vote on that you care about. So guys, don't miss on the opportunity to share your voice. Here at CCM, we believe that like you have a purpose, like your life means something. And the same thing with your vote. Your vote counts for something. So take the time to go out and vote, guys.
Yes, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're watching the replay or listening to the podcast, just know that we love you so much. We appreciate you. All of your support, all of our broadcasts that you have always been there listening, and we wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. Stay tuned for all of our upcoming events, all of our broadcast topics, and don't forget to suggest your topics.
There you go. We are twins.
All right, we'll see you guys soon. Have a great weekend.
Bye.